This is a video to show how polycarbonate patches can be cleaned with many different solvents, and many types of stains can be taken off without any difficulty. The first solvent we're going to try is muriatic acid. It's wiped on the surface of the polycarbonate patch. It doesn't dissolve or hurt the surface. Perfect surface, no problem. The second solvent we're going to try is sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is wiped on the surface and ground into the surface to try to get the surface from being destroyed, but as you can see, no problem with sulfuric acid. The third solvent is oxalic acid. This acid is once again tried to be rubbed into the surface, but the polycarbonate withstands the oxalic acid. The fourth solvent is sodium hydroxide, or oven cleaner is what a lot of people know it as. We spray it on there, and you'd think that it would damage the polycarbonateX patch, but it doesn't. Sodium hydroxide doesn't affect polycarbonateX patches. The fifth solvent is sulfamic acid. We try to get the sulfamic acid to eat into the surface of the polycarbonate patch, but to no avail. The polycarbonate patch withstands sulfamic acid. The sixth solvent is just ordinary laundry bleach. Try that with a cloth patch. Laundry bleach does absolutely no damage at all to the polycarbonate patch. The seventh solvent is just isopropyl alcohol. Now, alcohol is really a universal cleaner. It gets off a great deal of oil-based stains, so we're going to be using alcohol a lot in the next part of the video. Alcohol doesn't affect the patch. The number 8 is naphtha. Naphtha is a type of petroleum distillate that people use for cleaning, and you can wipe it on there forever and ever, and it doesn't hurt the polycarbonate surface. So the polycarbonate patch is not hurt by naphtha. The next solvent is just ordinary paint thinner. Paint thinner is something that most people have around in their garage or their basement. So you can use paint thinner to clean polycarbonate patches without any problem. The next solvent is gasoline. Now, gasoline is pretty hot, but as far as solvents go, but you can use gasoline to clean your patches, and it doesn't affect the doesn't affect the polycarbonate surface. So gasoline is something we're going to see in the next part of the video also, because it is more strong than alcohol. Now, the stain we're going to get off first is motor oil. Motor oil is a fairly common stain for a cloth patch. If you get motor oil on a cloth patch, it's very difficult to get out, but the motor oil is easily cleaned off with alcohol. No problem at all, comes right off. So with a polycarbonate patch, you can clean motor oil. The second stain is brake fluid. Brake fluid's fairly common also for people that do auto repair. If you have a Vecro patch and it's a polycarbonate patch, and you get brake fluid on the patch, there's no problem. It'll come right off with alcohol, no problem at all. You mechanics out there really appreciate polycarbonate patches. The next stain we're going to get off is animal blood. You hunters out there and you guys that are in the military, you understand what we're talking about here. Blood is very difficult to get out of a cloth patch, perhaps even impossible to get out of a cloth patch. But even if you let the blood bake on there for days and days and days, it'll come right off with Windex. You just spray it on there, it'll dissolve the surface. You wipe it off, blood comes off as easily as any other surface. There's nothing unusual about blood. It comes right off the polycarbonate surface patch of the patch. Next stain is latex paint. Now, not all types of paint are the same way, but latex paint you can get off a polycarbonate patch without any difficulty. If you use oil-based paints, some will come off easily, some will require such a hot thinner that it might do damage to the patch. So we just used latex paint here because we didn't want to say that all paints come off polycarbonate patches, because some oil-based paints have certain chemicals in them that would require a a very, very hot solvent like acetone in order to get off. And acetone will, while it wouldn't destroy the patch, it would what's called haze the patch. You probably wouldn't notice it, but it does haze the patch. Next, we're going to do tree sap. Now, tree sap's fairly common for you people that are out in the wilderness. We're trying to grind the tree sap into the polycarbonateX surface here. We let it dry and comes right off with Windex, no problem. Windex has got just a hair, little bit of alcohol, a little bit of solvent in it, and it works for most water-based things. But you're going to find out here in a second that Windex doesn't work for everything, so we're going to have to go into some more strong chemicals. Paintball paint. Now, you paintballers out there, you know what this is all about. If you put a Velcro patch on there and you get hit by a paintball, boy, you're going to have to soak that patch and maybe you won't get the stain out. But here with polycarbonateX patches, you can just throw the whole patch into water. It dissolves the paintball and you can just wipe it right off. No problem. And because the polycarbonateX patch is completely impervious to water or any kind of delamination issues, there's no problem. You can just soak it in water for days and days and days, no problem. Next, the stain that is most difficult of this test is number 7, road tar. Road tar, because it's got some really aggressive types of petroleum distillates in it, when it's ground into the surface like this, we're actually grinding that road tar into the surface because we're trying to simulate like if you were to fall off of, say, a motorcycle and the patch hits the ground and it gets ground into with the road tar. If you're a motorcyclist, that would be something that's possible. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with alcohol, because alcohol is really a fairly universal solvent for petroleum distillates. But we're going to find here that alcohol doesn't get off at all, every bit of it. So even though it gets off most of it, we're going to have to come back with gasoline in a few seconds here. So after wiping it, we zoom in there, we see that there's still a little bit of that tar on the surface. So we go ahead and take some gasoline and we put it on a rag and it comes right off with gasoline, and the gasoline doesn't affect the surface of the polycarbonateX patch. So there we go. Now the stain number 8 is magic marker. Now if you have children, this is going to be a real issue. If your child takes a magic marker and marks right on there, well, if that were a cloth patch, that would be the end of the cloth patch. But since these are polycarbonateX patches, you take denatured alcohol or isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol and you can wipe that magic marker right off, no problem. There we go. Magic marker comes right off. Next is decals. Now you can put decals on polycarbonate because polycarbonate is made to accept even vinyl graphics. So you can put vinyl graphics on polycarbonate, no problem. You can change the vinyl graphics. You can peel off the vinyl graphics. For you guys that use call signs, we have a line of AOR1 and AOR2 camo call sign patches, and they're specifically designed so you can peel off vinyl lettering. Your vinyl lettering comes right off, and then you just take alcohol and you can wipe any glue that might be left on the surface of the polycarbonateX patch. So decals of any kind, vinyl lettering, they come right off, and then you can use the patch again and again and again with different vinyl lettering if you want to make a call sign with a different vinyl designation. There you go. Decal comes right off, and the glue from the decal comes off. Next is number 10 is crayon. If you have children, once again, crayon may be an issue. Crayon is being ground into the surface of the polycarbonateX patch, and we come back with denatured alcohol again. Like I say, it could be rubbing alcohol if that's all you've got, and it'll dissolve the crayon so that you can wipe it right off. So that's 10 different substances that were cleaned with solvents, and then before that we had 10 different solvents which don't affect the surface of the polycarbonateX patch. And there we have it. If you want the best possible quality and the most durable patch possible, polycarbonateX patches are the way you should go. And that's all we wanted to show you. Hopefully you'll be placing an order for polycarbonateX patches next time you order patches. Thank you.